he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, welcome to the think tank.
Hello.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing.
Look at I got those things behind me again. Does that show to you like all the little
The sparklies?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you got like a Christmas tree behind you.
It's the resolution that I get off of StreamYard.
I wouldn't, be mad about that one. That one's cute looking.
Not too bad. Not too bad. little Mexican sombrero bird back there is happy in his spot.
Where? Oh, let me see. Bring it up close.
It's on my tree.
You ain't lying. It does have a sombrero on.
So I don't know. I was doing some digging around and whoa, there's some names floating around out there that I did not even realize. They were looking at in association with Rex.
As they should. Like, I mean, we kind of figured that they're going to start looking into everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost scary. Like, I don't know if a lot of these guys just have the same kind of MO or if this guy was just really active. There's a lot. They say that Atlanta probably isn't him, but I don't know. Vegas has got me a little freaked out.
I mean, I could see where they would say Atlanta maybe might not be him, but I also don't know. I'm like 50-50 on that one. Like, show me the evidence. Show me you've already disproven it, and then I'll move on. But it looks like it could be him.
Oh.
Just my opinion. We're not experts here. Disclaimer. Hi, Sunshine, Dandy, James.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you guys. So what's going on here? Come on. You show back up. Not like that. Let's just refresh you. So before I even get into them, I thought we'll go over... I found this interesting. The headline is, he came face-to-face with an alleged Cheerio. 12 years later, his tip helped to crack the case. So when we look into this one, you might be a little bit surprised. Like I was. I'm thinking, what the hell did that cop do? Was he just tossing everything right out the window? It sure didn't take them long once they started looking.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy that's speaking is Dave. Do you remember him, Mekci?
Yeah, and he would be one of Amber Costello's roommates at the time.
Absolutely. I mean, he said as soon as he seen a picture of Rex, he knew who he was.
It just kind of what bothers me about his story, I'm just going to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the fact that they had already he had been there the night before. And they swindled them, essentially, right?
Well, that's what some papers are saying. And then other ones are saying that this happened about a month before.
But regardless, like, you knew that was the same guy. Mm-hmm. And the records on the probable cause don't read that way. They say that he was there the night before. He got swindled, and then the next day he
So
kept
does
calling. Yes, the probable
it
cause says
does it?
it like
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
what I'm gonna go off of.
Yeah, that would be our best bet, right?
It what bothers me about his story is the fact that he knew that was the same guy, and there wasn't more done. Because that would already be
Well,
worrisome to me. Like, we just swindled this guy out of hundreds of dollars just yesterday, and now he's back and he's willing to pay you more money this time.
and yet she went.
And I kind of think that she thought she wasn't going to go far, from the simple fact that she said that she didn't want her purse or the phone. Like, I think she thought that was going to be like around the corner hookup, maybe. But once she was in the vehicle,
Things changed.
yeah.
Be careful. See what I say.
As police search the home of a man charged in a string of serial murders on New York's Long Island, new details about the timeline it took to solve these long, cold cases and concern from a tipster raises questions about what investigators knew about the alleged killer early on and why they didn't act sooner. Last week, Rex Heuermann was arrested in the deaths of 3 women stretching from 2007 to 2010 in what was long known as the Gilgo Beach murders. Prosecutors say he dumped the bodies of Melissa Barthelemy, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello along this remote stretch of beach on Long Island. He's also a prime suspect in the death of another woman, Maureen Brainerd Barnes. But Suffolk County prosecutor Ray Tierney, who assumed to investigators by a Heuermann and his black...
Okay, I'm curious. This is not across the way. No. What the hell? What is this behind there? That's not the other side.
It looks just like a boating dock area. I cannot say that that's the other side. Like, if we're looking directly at the island, that doesn't look to be the other side of Long Island, which we're looking at Gilgo Beach. And then Long Island, it's close, but I don't think
it's not that close. No, I'm looking at this trying to figure out what the hell it is, but
those are probably in the boats. People docking on those little island things, possibly. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Was given to investigators by a roommate of Amber Costello.
Specifically, the individuals between 6'4" and 6'6", come well over 200 pounds, 250 pounds, very large built individual with a white male.
In 2012, Tierney says police obtained cell phone records that connected the victims to burner phones that had pinged off cell towers near Heuermann's home and Manhattan office. The Associated Press spoke to Dave Schaller, Amber Costello's roommate, who reported that vehicle, as well as Heuermann's description nearly 13 years ago. He declined to speak on camera, but says he was interviewed several times by police and wonders, with that information in hand, why investigators couldn't have made an arrest sooner.
And at the time, there wasn't really any, coherent leadership at the top.
So he did report it. It's just that that's what they're saying here.
If this is this one's sketchy to me, and I'm not victim blaming. And these guys, like Amber Costello's roommates are essentially victims as well from trauma. But I know that I don't think he said that to police. I think he gave that to the sister, right? That's what.
Well, there was also, he did also tell the sister to contact them.
Yeah,
well, let's listen to that again. I want to hear what this guy has to say again.
why investigators couldn't have made an arrest sooner.
And at the time,
Oh, really? What the hell? Mm-hmm. Well, this should not be happening now,
What do you
should
think those cops are talking about? Lunch or like, hey, should we go get that Stromboli sandwich or what?
it? I'm going to refresh this. I don't know
Go
why
for it.
it's misbehaving. What the hell? Okay, well, I'll read until it kicks in. In the winter of 2010, shortly after police discovered the remains, his roommate and 3 other women buried on a remote stretch of Long Island, David Schaller provided detectives with a description of the person he believed to be okay. So it was after she was found that he provided the detectives with a description of the person he believed to be the deleter. More crucially, he says he told them about the truck. The man they were looking for was a towering Frankenstein-like figure with an empty gaze who drove a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche. Scholar recalled telling investigators the man's size stuck out, as did the unusual pickup truck which he used to flee the house. On that night, Schaller said he came home to find the stranger threatening Costello, an occasional worker who had locked herself in the bathroom. 2 men came to blows, with the hulking intruder eventually leaving in the truck. Prosecutors say Costello was last seen on September 2nd, 2010, as she left her home to meet that same client. A witness saw a dark-colored truck drive to the house again, and shortly after she left. When they told me that she was deleted, he was the first person who jumped into my head. I've been picturing his face for 13 years. On July 14th, police arrested Rex Heuermann on charges of deleting Costello and 2 other women, Melissa Bartholomew and Megan Waterman. He's also the prime suspect in the deleting of a 4th woman, Maureen Brainard Barnes. The arrest marked a stunning breakthrough in the hunt for a Cheerio that eluded investigators and whose crimes gripped Long Island since the 4 women, all of them workers, were found wrapped in burlap. Within months, the remains of 6 others, including a toddler, were discovered elsewhere along the same beach highway. Heuermann has not been accused in any of those cases. Police have said that the deaths may be the work of multiple killers. So let me see here. So the arrest brought a measure of relief to the families at a moment when the trail appeared to have gone cold. But as new details emerge about how police finally caught the alleged deleter, they've also raised questions about whether investigators adequately pursued a lead. Well, no, they didn't. Look what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, we know all that. The thing is this guy had his face. When they ran it through a vehicle records database on the results, turned up a hit. So what is this? Suffolk County Attorney General Ray Tierney, who inherited the investigation when he took office in 2022, said the key to unraveling the case was the description of the truck. So it was Dave's information that brought them to him.
Yeah, I mean, that was still going to take a lot of time, though, like running through like DMV records and.
Well, it didn't take that long because they started
Kind of
in
imagine.
2022, and then it was just a few months later, and they were watching him.
Mm-hmm.
So it
But I mean,
didn't
I'm
take
talking
that.
about like back in the day, like even 10 years ago, things were different, you know?
Yeah, they had that guy in charge that
Well,
was
that, but
like
like I'm sure
shutting
the
down the
systems
case, and
weren't what they are now as well.
no, they weren't. But I still think the majority of it has to do with that
I
cop
think so
telling.
too. He
Yeah.
definitely deterred.
Oh, he told the FBI to go home. Don't want you. He told
Yeah, he
everybody else, don't want you.
and almost, just being petty. 'Cause sometimes I want to be petty.
Hmm.
I feel like this guy should probably get charged with some like determinant of like justice or something. Something like
Yeah, I don't know. I
what
mean,
is
he
that
did
like?
that time in jail.
Messing with police investigation kind of thing. I don't know. I can't think of the word of what that's specifically called, but he did. He literally
Yeah.
obstructed justice by just being a DC, a douche canoe. I said it. I'm sorry. DC. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
Yeah,
DC.
fair enough. Yeah, yeah. No, he absolutely did everything he could to have them not look in that area for whatever reason that would be, whether it was his partying activities, whether he was, I don't
Involved
know.
or not. And I don't think he was involved. I think because he himself was doing shady things,
Yeah.
he didn't want people coming around and investigating things
And
because
there we
when
are.
the
Thank
FBI
you.
shows up at your door, they're looking at everything.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Impeding an investigation. Thanks,
Yeah,
Mom.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
that,
Thank
that, that.
you. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at those charges because I don't know if there was anything in there related to the fact that he sent everybody on that wild goose chase.
He prevented people from coming in too. Like the FBI, he
Oh,
just
yeah.
prevented them from coming in, and he was like, "Nope, don't need you, don't want you, get out of here."
Yeah. And I didn't think that a cop could do that. I thought the FBI would trump him.
No, because the FBI. Here's the thing
Oh
about
my
the
God.
FBI is like if they have a reason to be involved for it's something that they already know about, they'll just come in and like oh no, this is ours, right? But when they have really no reason, they have this is not on the radar, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They will always offer their assistance though, because
Right. Okay.
but they don't necessarily trump anyone unless they are directly involved already.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, now that we know he's a Cheerio, would that not involve the investigation or involve them?
Well, yeah, now that
We know there's
they
okay.
now they're in like Flynn. Like now they're like, no, we're all up in it. You can't tell them to go away because they're not going to go away on this. Not now.
And I've also heard that term too, perverting the course of justice.
Yeah, that's what I was like, what's that word? Creepy. Weirdo. Pervert. That's it. Perverting.
Perverting the course of justice. So this is a name. Had you heard of Tanya Rush before? I can't remember which ones you had and which ones you hadn't.
I haven't. I'm gonna say I haven't heard of any of these new girls, other than what I heard this morning prior to me speaking to you.
Okay.
And I was watching something that mentioned their names, and I was like, oh, what's going on?
Okay. Yeah, because these are all they were just kind of all over the place. I wasn't having anything, and then all of a sudden I'd get something over here, and then I was finding something over there. It's like, oh, okay, what do we got going here now? So this woman's name was Tanya Rush, and she was discovered in a black suitcase near the Southern State Parkway back in June 2008. Police didn't know the mystery of who deleted her, and it would linger on for 15 years. 2008, State Parkway. The Brooklyn mother of 3, she had 3 daughters, who was 39 at the time, had turned into a worker after she developed a habit with the July 13th arrest of architect Rex Heuermann in the Gilgo Beach Cheerio case. Russia's unsolved deleting is being looked at again, as with many others. So a friend of hers, Willie Stembridge, told PIX 11 that Tanya Rush was his neighbor at Van Dyck Houses in Brownville, Brooklyn. He said Rush used to street walk near the Linden and Galaxy hotels. She often worked near New Lots and Pennsylvania Avenues. Police are now investigating whether she was ever picked up by the accused, who could have conceivably taken the Belt Parkway into Southern State Parkway on his way home to Massapequa Park in Nassau County. Oh man, oh man, oh man.
Can I share my screen really quick just for a split second, just so everyone has an idea of where Southern State Parkway is?
Okay.
This is Southern State Parkway. This right here is Massapequa Park.
Mm-hmm.
And he lived right in here.
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah. So he's in here somewhere. And that is somewhere on this Southern State Parkway is where she was found. But that is right.
Do you want to keep that up while I talk, and you can kind of point out if you want? Okay. So it says, but multiple deleting investigators we spoke with said it would be a given for detectives to look at the cases like Rush's, especially since she was a worker like the Gilgo victims, and because she was found near a highway on Long Island South Shore. I'm tripping over my tongue. I've been up since 4 this morning. I'm a little sleepy.
You're rearranging furniture
at 4 in the morning. Oh my word. I don't know. So, okay, let's see here. And because her body, yes. So, PIX 11 visited the site where Russia's body part was found with state police investigators in 2014 while doing one of our Mary Murphy mystery segments. Oh, Mary Murphy. So the investigators told us they had no witness accounts of anybody dropping off the body on the westbound entrance ramp to the Southern State at exit 25, Newbridge Road in North Belmore.
Hold on. What did you say it was?
Southern State exit 25, Newbridge Road in North Belmore. So it says if you drive several exits to the east, you reach spots like the Wantagh Highway South and others that take you to the Massapequa area where Heuermann has lived his entire life.
Well, look at that.
Did you find it?
Of course. That's exit 25 right there.
Mm-hmm. So when we interviewed a senior state patrol investigator in 2014, he told us he wasn't convinced that Tanya Rush was deleted where she lived in Brooklyn. He felt she could have been unalived somewhere else. Tanya Rush's unsolved deleting in a suitcase is not the only one of its kind with a connection to Long Island. Just a year before, in March 2007, a black suitcase with a woman's torso washed up. Oh, these suitcases. Jesus Lord. Washed up on a beach in Mamaroneck. Okay. Mamaroneck?
Numeric. I don't
Mamaroneck?
know.
I don't know. Westchester County. Mamaroneck? The unknown victim's clothing, a velvety nightgown, t-shirt, and sweatpants was stuffed into the suitcase. 2 weeks later, the woman's legs were found on the other side of Long Island on the island's north shore. One leg in Cold Spring Harbor and the other in Cove Neck. Sounding a little familiar.
Yes, very much so. We've
A
heard
police-
those exact
Yep,
places before.
we have. A police source said that Mary Murphy's investigators think the remains may have been originally dumped on the North Shore before the black suitcase was pushed across the Long Island Sound to Mamaroneck during a storm. So when we asked the New York State Police about the Tanya Rush case and its potential link to the Gilgo investigation, we received an email statement. The Tanya Rush case is an open and ongoing investigation. All leads, new and old, get fully investigated. New York State Police spokesperson, Suffolk County Attorney Ray Tierney, who is leading the Gilgo Beach prosecution, told Pix 11 News that protocols have now been established for sharing evidence with other jurisdictions. Very good, very good. Judge Timothy Mazzelli recently ordered Rex Heuermann to comply with DNA swab request that was requested by the prosecution's office. He didn't think he really wanted to do that. I mean, why should he? Why should he have to share that DNA? Oh, blows me away. Blows me away. Wasn't he kind of doing that though, James? Like, by the sounds of things, he could have been doing that.
It's
Like
you know,
Fire Island Jane Doe.
the guy who produced the Killing season.
Mm-hmm.
It's a multi-episode thing. He said the MO could have changed when the internet happened. You know how maybe at some point you had just kind of got to like roam the streets at a certain area to look for a call girl, escort. I'm trying to be polite here. But then the internet happened and it became popular. You just had to go to Craigslist or certain websites to get what you wanted. Per se.
Hey, Shauna. Good to see you, friend.
Hi, Shauna.
Oh, I got total PTSD from suitcases, Mom. Like, it's like, what the hell? They are, all suitcases are bad, James. All of them. I will never, ever, ever put one up. Duffel bags are the new thing.
No, duffel bag should not be the new thing.
Well, I think
now they're
duffel
turning up-
bags.
now I've heard a couple of people here recently turning up on duffel bags, big ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well-
you're gonna start following those.
well, maybe I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. We'll just have to monitor that situation.
We'll have to play it by ear, folks. We don't know what's up yet, but we're gonna play it by ear. We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna put you down for a second there,
Sure.
and we'll watch this, and then we'll get back to that. And where is that? I want that one. Do I hear a straw? What is in there? Something yummy, isn't it?
Young woman in Las Vegas whose cold case murder is now being probed for a possible link to the Gilgo Beach murders. The Turn to Terra team has just learned that Jody Marie Brewer, killed 20 years ago today, is among the sex workers out west whose death is being reevaluated for any possible connection to the suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann. Our senior reporter Tara Rosenblum has the story.
She looked like Madonna when she walked out the door. She was so sociable. She was so easy to love. She was like the merry sunshine in my life.
20 years after Jody Marie Brewer's murder, and the grief is just as raw for her mother, Pam.
That doesn't go away. We live this every day of our lives.
And
one thing that's really interesting, and we were looking at these yesterday, Mekci, is maybe it was even this morning. I don't know.
I've been looking at them in a lot.
How,
I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like so many of these girls have similar features, you know.
Yeah.
It blows me away when you see them all lined up, and it's like, oh my.
It's hard. Maybe we're seeing what we want to see in some of these, but the Las Vegas girls in particular are hard to dispute compared to the Gilgo 4.
Yeah, fair enough.
They look a lot alike.
Well, some of the Gilgo girls look like some of the Vegas girls.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh my.
And even, is it Jessica? What's her name? Is it Jessica?
Which one?
She was found in 2 different places. She's one of the Manorville girls. She's not part of the Gilgo 4. She was found, I think, closer to the child.
Right.
But she looks a lot like one of the Las Vegas girls. Hugely.
I don't know if I can do that. So, yeah, Jessica Taylor. And she was just up past the Asian male. It's kind of on the other little, like the side of the other little cluster of water there. All right. Let's see here.
Younger sister Jacqueline.
When she was gone missing, I was only 13. So
August 14, 2003 was the day her 19-year-old sister disappeared from Las Vegas.
She had gone out for the night and she said, "I love you, Mom." She said, "I'll see you in the morning." And I said, "I love you too, Jody." And I never saw her again.
Jody's torso was discovered wrapped in cloth and plastic 2 weeks later in the Mojave Desert.
losing her was like a part of me because, you know, she was always.
Mojave Desert.
Can I share my screen really quick? I don't know if I can.
Give me a second here. Okay.
I just want to show people this really quick about how.
Okay.
Well, it's not Jessica. Her name. It's Valerie Mack.
Okay.
Valerie Mack and Misty Marie.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, even Jody looks like the Bartholomew girl.
Melissa.
Yes, Melissa Bartholomew. Like,
it's very, very true. They've all got long hair. Most of them, it's like no bangs. You know, there's very much all tiny. Like if this is the same guy, he's definitely got a type.
Yeah, and then look at that.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
It's weird. It is weird.
Yeah, it's a little eerie, right? So, and if you look at the years there, that's kind of actually, that's good you've got those up. If you look at the years, they all coincide with a person being active possibly and dumping in one area and active and possibly dumping in another. Unreal. I mean, Vegas is not next door.
No.
You would think, if that's the case,
And these are
does
the
Misty look like Shannon Gilbert?
a
That's
little,
good.
yeah. All these
Yeah.
girls look the same. These are the girls from Atlantic City. Do you see any similarities?
Yeah. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
If it's not the same guy, I'll be really surprised. And I mean, I just want to see justice for all these girls because they were somebody's daughter, mother, sister, friend.
bestie.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
just because they did what they did doesn't mean that they're any less. And
Hell no.
it bothers.
Right?
Yeah.
Aye. Well said.
I was there. So, and yeah.
Now, 2 decades later, Jody's long cold case is getting a second look as part of a wider effort to hunt for more possible victims of suspected serial killer Rex Heuermann, who owns a timeshare just a few miles off the Las Vegas Strip.
It seems to me like the area that he bought the condos in was prostitution areas, and that it would have been real easy for him.
Like the Gilgo Beach murder victims, Brewer says her daughter.
I have not heard one time of his family being there. No one said anything once about him bringing his family there. So, I don't know.
Daughter had turned to prostitution after falling into the wrong crowd and using drugs. But our close review of 266 cold case murders in Las Vegas shows that Jody's tragic fate was also shared by 4 other sex workers between 2003 and 2006 who died in similarly suspicious circumstances. A Las Vegas law enforcement source tells News 12 he has no doubt that one person is to blame for at least several of those cases. But is that person Rex Heuermann? Our source says the DNA evidence could take many months to process, since the older it is, the more it degrades over time. Still,
The whole Rex thing, it's totally different now because it gives us a little hope
in a weird way.
just for everybody, like the survivors and the victims, and
The
just
families,
hopefully we
yeah.
could get some resolutions.
Tara Rosenblum, News 12.
Yeah.
What excites me about what she just said about like, oh, but the DNA was degraded. I cried during reading the probable cause because I was like, Frankie, look what they did. They had this DNA and they said, we don't have the technology. Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Save it. Because one day we will. And they did.
Right. Yeah. You were pretty, it was an emotional moment.
Super excited because I mean, that's the kind of detectives or the kind of police work you want to see. The guys that can see beyond.
Sorry, guys.
Where they're at right now.
Lies.
Oh my god!
I know. I'm throwing stuff around. I had the door open all day, and I swear, oh my god, these cages attract every single fly within the net. I don't know.
50 miles.
They're all over the place. Okay. And I don't like them. I hate flies, so I get a little neurotic about it. So let's see here. It seems like he may have purchased. Okay, it says the condos. And what was working girl areas, and it would have been very easy for him So she had turned to a working girl. The turn for Tara's team's close review, 266 cold case deletings in Las Vegas show that 4 other workers died, only 4 out of 266, in similar circumstances between 2003 and 2006. That's interesting right there. Yeah, gives them a little bit of hope, is right. I just couldn't imagine. So the next girl is Glendine Grant, her daughter. Now, let me see here. Now, this is another Las Vegas case. Yeah, she's a softie. Okay, so multiple Las Vegas cold cases are being investigated for connections to the Gilgo Beach suspect. So, in the 17 years since Glendine Grant last seen her daughter, she has had so many false leads and dashed hopes that she can't bring herself to fully believe that her daughter's disappearance may someday be solved. Oh, imagine the hurt every time you get your hopes up. You think, you get your hopes up that there is going to be a resolution, not the one you want, but it's a resolution.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no.
I know there's been a few of the Las Vegas families that have come out and said that, like, that they want it to be him, just because they just want that closure.
Well, yeah.
But if
I
it's
mean,
not him,
chances
that
are,
they wouldn't be upset. Like, they'd be like, if it's not him, then
oh, it'd be traumatic.
yeah. But the way
Very
they
traumatic.
found it is, it was like one girl, I think it was a daughter of one of the women from Las Vegas, was just like, I just want to stop feeling the way I'm feeling. Essentially, that's kind of what I took from it, where she was like, I want it to be him, but if it's not him, then
keep looking.
This just carries on. That feeling that she has just carries on, and it's terrible.
Oh, it would be. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. So let's see here. This is not the first time that this has happened. I've kind of learned over the last 17 years, I always get real hopeful, and then I try to say to myself, don't get too hopeful. You know, the higher you go, the farther you will fall. Grant told insiders she learned from the Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that her daughter is one of several unsolved cases that authorities are investigating in connection to 59-year-old Rex Heuermann. Grant's daughter, Jessie Foster, was 21 years old when she went missing in Las Vegas in the spring of 2006. Grant said her daughter fell into, that type of scheme and was forced to work as a working girl before she vanished. And her remains have not been found. Grant isn't the only one speaking up. The family of Jody Brewer, that's who we were just talking about, she disappeared back in 2003, and we know that they spoke with local media. So a spokesperson for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department confirmed that detectives are investigating Heuermann's involvement in multiple cold cases. We're aware of Rex Heuermann's connection to Las Vegas. We are currently reviewing our unsolved cases to see if he had any involvement. Like the Gilgo Beach victims, Foster and Brewer were both young workers, And like the Gilgo Beach victims, whose remains were discovered wrapped in burlap, Brewer's torso was wrapped in a sheet of plastic in the nearest the deserts near an interstate. In the desert
Whoa,
near an
plastic is the first time I've heard.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's the article saying it like that, or if that is actually a thing. That's the first time I heard plastic. I heard sheet.
Insider's pretty reputable, isn't it? I don't think they would.
I
think. Yeah, I think the Insider's pretty reputable. I don't think it's like a rag mag.
Plastic. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, and the fact just wrapped. I mean,
yeah, the wrapping itself is
the
significant all the way around.
Is. Yeah. To me, it is.
I
anyways,
also find like what he's using, the material, interesting because as a architect, whatever, he would probably have access to stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like plastic.
Yeah,
wrapping.
I mean, everything, including burlap sacks.
Yeah, being a hunter. Sure, absolutely.
Well, a hunter and being a contractor as far as construction goes.
Do they use a lot of... I've never seen any kind of burlap anything used in construction.
Well, it's going to be used to carry materials, right?
No, you wouldn't use burlap sacks. I would imagine like in if they're doing like the landscaping part of it, there would be burlap involved, but
you're probably thinking of a different kind of construction too.
I'm thinking of like also industrial, like you would.
Well, we'll have burlap sacks out. We would use
oil. What
no,
like what specifically?
There's no
are you
oil.
Talking about? Like if you tell me, like I could.
It's industrial construction.
And what would you guys use the burlap for?
What would come in it?
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. Anything from welding rods, a whole bunch of welding rods that come in. Yeah, lots of things will come in sacks.
They're in burlap sacks.
And if it was camouflaged, it would probably be used for hunting. If it was camouflaged, yeah. But yeah, I mean, they're used for all the trades.
Cement.
All the trades would be using those sacks.
Some kind of burlap thing.
No, exactly right, James. Like when I worked around the rigs, all sorts of stuff came in those sacks. And working around an industrial construction site, lots of things would come in burlap.
You would know because I mean I don't do heavy lifting, I don't do heavy work, so for me, like I think of a burlap sack and like putting industrial stuff in it, like because I would think industrial stuff would be heavy. I wouldn't want to put it in the burlap sack, but if I'm sure it exists. You're right.
Yeah, the heavy.
And never.
Well, just from working in the different in the industry for. And when I didn't, all my ex did, and when my ex didn't, my dad did. So I've been around like all that stuff all my life.
Of being involved in something like that, like just construction work. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I could. I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. Okay, so Heuermann, a New York architect, was arrested and charged with the deleting of 3 women who went missing through 2019 and 2010, and who were later found buried near Gilgo Beach. Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello. Authorities said Heuermann is also considered the prime suspect in Maureen Brainard Barnes.
Question: why did they say buried? They weren't buried.
And whose bodies were later found buried. I don't know if they were under anything or not. I would almost assume that they would be by This
Just
point?
like, I mean, the storms and stuff coming in.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
Yeah. I would almost think so.
But they also say that they weren't buried, that they were just there. So they must know that from the sediment that was on top of them. Like if it came in from a hurricane, they would know that from testing.
I would think so. I mean, they're going to be able to take all sorts of different test holes.
Yeah, geology. Stuff that I don't understand, but somebody does.
I used to do test holes with our hydrovac. True story.
That stuff's interesting, man. I don't know how they figure that out. Frankie has like all these different like stones that she shows me, and they have like, you can literally see the different color in the layer, and I'm like, what happened there? It's interesting, like the study of soil. People know a lot of things from that.
Because you liked this one, right? You like the peacock ore. I don't know if the
I
lights.
do like that one.
Peacock ore. All righty.
Is too. We call them rednecks around here.
I'm a redneck. I'm okay with the redneck thing.
And this is the term of endearment. Just because you're out in the sun all day and your neck gets red, you know, it's a term of endearment. Guys,
that's what it is.
Stop being sensitive. Jeez.
Oh, listen to this. Grant said she kept up with the news coverage about the investigation into Heuermann in Long Island. She said she noticed several striking details, namely that Heuermann owned multiple Las Vegas timeshare properties, and he purchased them not long before Foster went missing. So multiple, that's more than two. One property in 2004 and another in 2005. Okay, so that's a couple. Not several. That's two. One in 2004, one in 2005.
You're starting to read articles the way I read them. I just nitpick them all day, every day.
Well, because a lot of times this is the way just that tiny little detail.
Yes, it matters. It
really does.
Because we're depending on you for information. This is what you're giving us.
Well, yeah, it's got to make sense. So it's the timing and the area and the similarities to the other victims. The only difference with all of the women from Gilgo Beach and the other women from Las Vegas is Jessie has never been found. Grant said Foster last communicated with her family March 28th, 2006, and was never heard from again. Foster was known for calling at least one relative every single day, and that she spent in Las Vegas, and told her sister on March 28th that she would speak to her the very next day. And then nothing. 17 and a half years later, and it's still nothing, Grant said, adding that the police didn't initially believe Foster was missing. Jessie's not leaving a family that she's so close to and going somewhere with God only knows who and starting a life somewhere and leaving us out of it. That could not happen.
Dude, facts. I don't know why cops don't listen to families more.
I was going to say the exact same thing, that families have to be listened to, because if you're, the normal.
What is normal? Like, oh, like my parents don't talk to me for a week, and they're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, well, that's it.
But then after it gets to like a week and a half, they're like just blowing me up. And then leaving me voicemails like, hey, if you don't answer in the next hour, we're buying plane tickets.
Right? Yeah.
People know, families know what the norm is with their kids. Whether you have a good relationship with them or not, they know.
Oh, yeah, you know your kid.
Yeah.
You know your kid. Grant said she remembers her daughter as beautiful, loving young woman with a hilarious personality. She could belch the alphabet and once won a spitting contest. Nice. She's
My
very
kind of gal.
popular. Very funny, very kind, very loving. It ripped a hole in our family when she went missing, and the hole has never been filled.
No.
Oh, it is. It's heart-wrenching. And the fact that they're left with no information.
Answers. No
Oh
answers.
my
No.
God.
And I don't ever want to be in that situation. I don't have kids.
Mhm.
So at this time, I will never be in that situation, but I can imagine what
Well,
that
like I
would
said,
be
just
like.
imagine one
And
of your nieces or nephews.
no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
I'd
exactly
be
it. No.
I'd be Liam
Yeah.
Nielsen. I would be freaking.
Oh, yeah, you'd lose like a person would
I
lose their
would
crap.
I would go after someone. I don't care spending the rest of my life in prison. I don't mind.
Well, that's the
I'm
thing.
coming after you though. Like that's not. You don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it does happen. It does happen where they don't get that guy fast enough and one of the parents do.
I want to be part of that jury. I know I've said I didn't want to be part of juries, but I want to be part of that kind of jury.
Well, yeah. I
And I'm
mean,
like not guilty.
yeah, like is that person dangerous to public? Absolutely not. No. Did they probably crack due to mental stress? I would think so. Like, I don't
Who
think.
wouldn't?
No, that's
You
right.
know, especially as a parent. I can, like I said, I can only imagine, but I can imagine that as a parent, you would lose it. You'd freaking lose
Yeah.
it.
Well, like you say, it's not even something you want to think about.
No.
It's not, because
You
even the
you
thought
just
of it.
mentioned my niece and nephew, and I'm like, I'd lose it. Like I would go hunting these people down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And parental love is that on steroids.
Oh my goodness.
So imagine what you would do, and then imagine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or don't, because it's too nasty.
I already know, like me and my siblings are made out of the same egg.
Mm-hmm.
We're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
I know one abides by the law, but the other one don't really care as much about
Not
the
as
law.
much. Yeah.
He cares about the law, but he not that much.
Yeah, not as much as the lawyer.
You're right.
That's fair. That's fair.
And I know me, him, a couple of our cousins, my dad. We'd all be like, "Where are we going? Where are we going? Let's do it."
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it. It would not be no. Let's see here. Police in Las Vegas are testing Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann's DNA to see whether there's a connection to the unsolved deleting of a young mother with scary similarities. Again, Las Vegas Police Lab is performing direct comparison to the slaying back in 2003 of Victoria Camara, who was 17 years old. They're expected to get these results in 6 to 8 weeks. So her remains were found in the early hours of August 11th, 2003 by a gravel truck driver in the desert just off a haul road in Boulder City, about 26 miles outside Las Vegas. Her body was identified a few weeks later, and police determined she was likely deleted in Las Vegas proper.
She's beautiful. She looks like an actress that I can't place at the moment, but
yeah,
beautiful.
pretty young lady. Somebody took my mom's life without regard, her daughter Savannah said. She was barely a year old when her mother was deleted. At the time of her death, she was working to provide for herself and her daughter.
Can't hit on that. Like, you do what you need to. Katy Perry-ish. Yo.
Yeah, very much Katy Perry-ish, right? Perry-ish.
Yeah. Which is,
Yeah.
there's a story about that now that's really weird, too. Because it's her songwriter that went missing, isn't it? Katy Perry?
Roughneck Frankie. I don't know. Oh yeah, isn't that one of her writers? I was a sump sucker, James.
Yeah, she was too.
I was a sump sucker.
That's impressive. You know, that really is, because like women don't get into jobs like that, and you did.
No, they don't.
And you freaking did it. You're bossing people around.
Toughened me up. So let's see here. Maybe a lot of his money was going to pay for these timeshares, etc., to pursue his unaliving obsession by moving around to avoid detection. Well, hey. How very American. Lucy Letby. I don't think I have. Is that, where's that case from? I wrote it down. Oh, UK, Lucy Letby. Selective hearing, selective reading, selective mumbling. I'm going to check it out. So let's see here. An interview last month, Kamara's cousin, Kayla Donaldson, said that the family struggled to get attention for the 20-year-old case because of the stigma attached to the work. It's usually the same runaround of information as soon as you bring it up. Yes, she was doing this. It's like, well, let's just put her to the bottom of the list. And, you know, it's unbelievably sad, but it's a true statement. When I seen how easy it is to zip across straight onto, you got Gilgo Beach, continue straight, and you're on Fire Island. Like, are you kidding me? From Rex's house, you go straight over, straight down, and you can do your business there, cross one, you're back onto Gilgo Beach, and carry on dispersing. Brutal. Brutal, brutal. So, Sugar Bear. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to like her much, am I? Neonatal nurse. Yeah, you know, when they're hurting kids, isn't it? It's a whole different kettle of fish. So Sugar Bear is also getting looked at. So this is, let me see here. More than 20 years after the skull of female impersonator was found embedded to an icy pond in Moriches on Long Island, the deleting case of Andre Isaac, also known as Sugar Bear is getting a closer look by Gilgo Beach investigators. Okay. Are you kidding me?
Had gotten involved.
Kim Jordan was always close to her son Andre, who grew to be 6'3" and later borrowed her old ball gowns for his work as a female impersonator.
Like his friends referred to him as Big Bear, like he was like a gentle giant.
Andre Isaac disappeared from Brooklyn in November 2002. His torso with a skirt and bodysuit was discovered that December in Far Rockaway, Queens. A month later, ice
I want to go back
skaters
there a
found
little bit.
a month later, ice was discovered that
Okay. So I'm not going to write this one off at all because we also know of an Asian male that's on Gilgo Beach.
December in Far Rockaway, Queens. A month later, ice skaters found his skull 60 miles away, embedded in a frozen pond near Forge River in the Moriches section of Suffolk County.
I know he was shot, and he was shot in the head.
Pix 11 News just learned Andre Isaac was shot with a Glock, a new clue in the mystery that only intensified when Suffolk police briefly.
So we know that he had a Glock. With that said, this would be the first one. If it is associated with Rex, this will be the first one that a gun was used, to my knowledge.
Included Isaac's case on the Gilgo News website some time ago before abruptly taking it down. When you look at the map, Forge River in the Moriches, where Isaac's skull was found, is 42 miles east of Gilgo Beach, where 10 sets of remains were discovered between 2010 and 2011. Moriches is accessible by boat on the Great South Bay. Architect Rex Heuermann and pleaded not guilty in the murders of 3 women in Gilgo. The prime suspect in a 4th murder that dates back to 2007 when he was 43 years old.
I think there's going to be a lot more besides these 4 that are going to be credited to him because I can't see him just starting at 43.
This
I
is
think he's
the
been out
thing.
there for a long.
He did not start at 43. Like,
No,
no
he
one will
started
ever
in his late 20s. Well,
at
'cause
least, if
he's
not.
47 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those unalivings happened 2010 at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
From what
Those
we
ones.
know. Those ones, right? So
Yeah.
that's 20 years later,
And this is it. Yeah.
15 years
Yeah.
later, 13 years later, whatever the case may be. So he was in his late 20s, early 30s.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. And that's also very well said. At the very most, I agree. Very most.
I'd like to know his escalation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's lived in Long Island his whole life. He went to college there. He went to school there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he was in between after college and before he bought his mother's home. I don't know
Well,
where
we
he
know.
was there, but he's always
I
been
don't know if he lived in South Carolina or if he just had property there. Because at the very beginning, they said that he lived in New Jersey and in South Carolina. But I don't know if that meant that he just had property there or that he had actually lived there at some point.
We know he has property there now, but I'm really interested in knowing where he was in between him graduating college and his first marriage, and his first marriage to his second marriage. Where was he at?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Rex. I'm trying to think. I'm just going to take a look. Yeah. I do have his first wife. So I'll do a little bit of digging and I'll see what I can find on her and see if there's any connection to South Carolina
Just
or
any address, something that comes up. If anything comes up for her for an address would be interesting. Because
yeah, it would.
we know when he was married to her, like the dates.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if he's has a property that's owned in between that date, we know that he probably had it. He was there.
Wowza.
Long time.
Retired cold case detective
He
John
was.
Geist helped
Harry.
secure the ID on a Jane Doe who was dumped in Yonkers in the 90s by another Long Island serial killer, Robert Schulman.
How are you feeling? Oh,
Schulman, a postal worker from Hicksville, pleaded guilty to fatally beating 5 women who were sex workers. In the
What the hell is in the water there?
Heuermann case, there's still great debate as we await DNA testing on whether he might have dismembered some victims.
as a detective, you're going to look at him for that until you could eliminate him.
District Attorney Ray Tierney alleged Heuermann did extensive online searches for torture and child porn, including a search about Asian men.
It's disturbing. First of all, how long has he been doing this? How far back do the searches go? You know, and it's really disturbing.
Investigators in multiple jurisdictions are looking at their cold cases now since the Rex Heuermann arrest. One family we profiled 2 weeks ago told us they've been notified by the Nassau County DA's office. Carmen Vargas was found dead on the side of the Meadowbrook Parkway in 1989, and now her case is getting another look. Tamsin and Corey.
Mm-hmm.
I have that on the map, Harry. So we're like super specific about it.
Pardon me?
Perry asked a question about if he had gone
We turn your roofing
vacationing.
nightmares into dreams come true. Our metal roofing panels are designed to look like traditional shingles, tiles,
Oh my
or
God,
shake.
really?
With the strength.
No.
And he did.
Andre Isaac.
So August 10th, 2009, Rex actually traveled to Iceland. And they know this because the cell phone activity to Melissa Bartholomew was interrupted. I think he went for like a week or something, like 8 days it was.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then the calls to Melissa's family immediately started the very next day. Again, should I say, because they were already happening and then they started up again once he got
stopped
back.
for a while and then, Son bitch. So he was, shot with that Glock. I was trying to wait until they got in touch with me, Kim Jordan Isaac's mother said, because I know everything's in an uproar right now. So it sounds like his case got a little bit of attention after the Asian male dressed in women's clothing was discovered on Ocean Parkway. During a police search in the spring of 2011, he was the only man among 10 sets of remains ultimately found along that roadway. John Doe had his skull crushed and was placed closest to the Gilgo 4. I didn't know that little tidbit. Did you know he had his skull crushed?
I did not know that he had a skull crushed, but I did know that he was close to those 4.
Right. Okay. So, really, how far do these go back? Isaac, who often performed in drag clubs in New York City, was deleted 8 years before the first Gilgo victim was discovered. and was last seen before Thanksgiving of 2002 getting into a red sports car near his apartment in East New York, Brooklyn. The following month, Isaac's torso was found in Far Rockaway, Queens, inside a plastic bag with a skirt and bodysuit. So, inside a plastic bag. Then in January 2003, they were talking about the ice skaters nearly 60 miles away finding a skull stuck to the ice. Good God. Just like Gilgo Beach, Moriches is connected to the Great South Bay of Long Island, accessible by boat or car.
Save that article if you can, because I want to pin that for later. Look at it.
Absolutely. I just put it in with our stuff.
Yeah.
And there you go. There you go. Yeah. Some good little tidbits in there. The bodies of Mack and Taylor had their heads and hands removed, with their remains found in Manorville in 2000 and 2003, respectively. And then skulls were discovered along Ocean Parkway in 2011. The Forge River area where Isaac's skull was discovered is 10 miles south of Manorville. Wow. Okay. So that puts things into perspective. That again means it was just across that bridge over to Fire Island and down. Suffolk County District Attorney has said protocols have been established for sharing evidence now that Heuermann is in custody. Judge Tim Massey ruled last week that Heuermann must submit, there's that DNA swab again. So why would he even try to fight that? It's not like the judge is going to go, okay, yeah, you're right. We don't need that. So yeah, like this guy said here, that cop had said, I just can't see him starting at 43. Oh, good night, James. Good seeing you, friend. Thanks for being here. Were his calls recorded? Let's see here. No. Come in. Oh, okay. This was just something a little bit else. Heuermann's wife is asking that the cops pay for the damage that was done to that house. So I don't know if they will or not, because wouldn't that mean if they do for one, they got to do for everybody else? I don't know how that would work out. I mean, I can understand, but I don't know how that would work out. So the family of suspected Gilgo Beach Cheerio, Heuermann, is taking legal action against police who they say turned their New York home upside down in their extensive search for evidence in the case. I mean, I feel really bad for her and her family, but I guess because I don't like that they did that either, but I think that is the way they do it. You know, it is, but they have to do their job, and it ain't pretty, you know? So, and I mean, it's saying that their valuables were shattered, their beds were destroyed. They're gonna rip that shit apart. They're gonna rip it all apart. They're not gonna worry about it.
They have a warrant that says they can.
That's the thing. Yeah, the places that they led their heads down no longer exist. Their house is in a shambles. It's ransacked. I do. I feel sorry for her. She's fighting cancer. She's got a child. Her son, who's 33, has got disabilities. Her daughter that she shares with Rex, well, she's now unemployed because she was with Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They took ground penetrating radar. They took a backhoe to the backyard. They ripped up the couch, the bathtub, the flooring, the drain pipes, everything. And that's what they do. It sucks. Everything's destroyed. What she should do is take it out of his ass from that divorce. Add that on top of, it's not going to help her right now, but you just take everything. I don't know how that would work after someone's jailed. So she has been suffering from skin and breast cancer.
That's right, Perry. He was missing teeth.
Emotionally, she's recovering each day, not only dealing with the cancer, but this newfound life that she has come to in terms of protecting herself and children, she said. So she filed for that divorce July 19th, just days after he was arrested, no doubt. The victims. Attorney John Ray, who represents some of the victims' relatives, call the potential lawsuit against police an outrage. Ellerup should be considered a suspect. I don't know about this. And not just a bystander or someone who's been victimized. You see, I understand where that anger is coming from, but I don't think it should be necessarily directed towards her and her kids.
No, never.
Ellerup should be considered a suspect. No. Defense attorney Ken Belkin, who is not affiliated with Ellerup or her children, said the lawsuit may not stand up in court. I don't think it will.
They have already proven in the probable cause that the mother was out of town. The wife was out of town. And several of those Gilgo 4 that he's being tried for, she wasn't around.
Yeah. She was in Iceland for one that
all
was
of Melissa's. She had gone to New Jersey for one, and then somewhere else for one of the other ones that they know of from the records that they've been able to subpoena and get. It's all in the probable cause. I think she went to New Jersey at one point, and then went somewhere else, and then went to Iceland for 3 of the girls.
And she was big into going to these comic book.
Yeah, that too.
And they would take her out of town. Well, hello, Dave. Good to see you, friend.
I was thinking the same too, Perry. But I don't know I don't know where in Iceland that she went specifically.
Well, I think that Reykjavik is about the only place that you really can go there.
Really?
I do believe, yeah.
Okay. So, I thought about that. I was like, oh, if he visited there for 8 days, he might have done something there. That should be looked at.
Absolutely.
I just didn't know where he went, or where they went to visit.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only spot that they can really go. I'm pretty damn sure. Oh my God, these flies. And it's not because my house is dirty. So I thought you might find this interesting. So Rex Heuermann is a renowned architectural firm. Oh, Rex Heuermann Architect is a renowned architectural firm that excels in crafting exceptional spaces through innovative designs and unparalleled expertise with a passion for seamlessly integrating form and function. Rex Heuermann, architect, has evolved into a trusted name in the industry with a commitment to client satisfaction. My word. So what I wanted to show you is, so how much do you think that guy looks like? That guy that's in jail right now. You look at him. Does that look like?
No.
Right?
His face literally has morphed into
one of complete anger.
Something else. It's completely different.
Bachelor's degree in architecture. I'm not going to go through these. It was more, I wanted to kind of take a look at that picture. So let's see here. You know what, guys? I think that was, I'm going to take another quick fast boo.
Frankie, you should get like a whole sleeve tattoo.
I should?
Yeah, I think that would look really good on you. I'm looking at your sweatshirt and I'm like, oh man, you should get like a whole sleeve.
It's funny because one side of my family is all about sleeves. All about the sleeves.
I like them. I'll encourage anyone to get them. I won't be getting a sleeve, but I encourage anyone to get one.
My young one brother there, yeah, he's covered head to toe.
I like it. It's my thing. It's
like
my
tattoos.
weakness. It's my.
What do I have? 1, 2. I've got 4. I've got 4.
If you have like a body full of tattoos, sleeves, I'm like, here's my underwear. Where should I place them? Over here? Okay. I'm not even joking. Like, I don't know what it is.
You like them?
I like them.
Oh, you're funny. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I think that's where we're at right now. I think that pretty much.
I want to play Mario Kart.
Are you wanting to play Mario Kart?
Yes.
It's time. It's time. You can go play Mario Kart.
Yes. It's the weekend, y'all. Frankie, do your little shimmy. Do your little chest shimmy. Hey.
Thank you very much for spending your Friday evening with me. Saturday evening.
Why can't I send
Saturday?
Oh, I send you money here. Hold on. I'm gonna send you $2 for that shimmy. That's what that was worth.
$2. That's about right.
I mean that with all due respect.
Oh my goodness.
What happened? Oh, did I put in the wrong security code?
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
No, wait, no. You wait. Hold on. Wait.
I think you're right, Perry. I think that anything unsolved will be super easy to find. I think he would be on the pretty dumb side to go there and do something along these lines, because I'm pretty darn sure. I mean, how many people? I think they'd be able to track him.
Oh, wait, I don't want to put that there. Hi, it's fun. Yeah, why did it ask me? Yeah, I know I am. I'm just like, why did it ask me for my security code?
For the shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, go, go, pop. Shimmy, shimmy, pop. Have a great night, everybody.
guys.
Thanks
Happy
again,
weekend.
Mekci.
Happy Saturday. Y'all be safe out there
Bye.
and stay cool.
Night.